Okay, what's up everyone? How are you doing? Good to have you here. Another day, another live stream, and a little bit of news as well. What's up guys? Take it easy, right? We have some news as mentioned in the previous update. It might increase the volatility as we have seen, and I guess that is why Hunter said, why you late? But I was having lunch. So we were going to the shops and then decided to eat something, and I don't want to, hurry lunch. Just a few minutes, but here we are. Good to have you here, everyone. Nuzly 3, Incredible Sub-Zero. What's up, Andrew, Hunter, Seabell? Thanks for your second email with more songs. I haven't yet listened to the songs, but I read something about rapping. I guess I'm more of like a techno hardstyle type of guy. Like no, not I guess with the music for the channel, which is more subtle, like in the trend of the music I have now. But I do like your creativity. Mark, what's up? How you doing? Rostem Ali Moss, welcome. Darpon, good to have you. Emra, happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. News clips, what's up? LJ, good to have you here. Welcome, Mando Tov, Jason, Patrick, everyone coming in. Okay, so in this live stream, guys, love from Pakistan, love from the Netherlands. How you doing? In this live stream, what we're going to do is, of course, cover Elliott waves. However, before we start, I will show you the banned words on this channel. As people have noticed, of course, sometimes you try to write a comment and a comment doesn't appear. Right? That's either because of the YouTube guidelines or it is because I have banned words on the channel. And the reason I have them is because of scammers. So to make this channel as scam free as it is, right? You never read something about it in the comment section and other stuff. I keep up to date with every potential scam message I get, and I look for words that generally people don't really use, like real people, but scammers do use. And I try to filter those words, put them in the ban list, and that's why maybe sometimes your comment doesn't appear. Because yesterday there was an unfortunate scenario where someone thought that he got banned, but that wasn't the case. No one was banned nor gets banned without my approval out of nowhere, unless it's a clear scammer in the chat. So it was just that someone's messages didn't appear in the chat because of a certain word, right? And now, of course, that person didn't like it, which is understandable, but thought he got banned, but that wasn't the case, which I told him afterwards. So what I am going to do to start this live stream is I am going to show you all of the banned words so that you actually have an idea what I'm coping with to make this channel the way it is without all the scammers. Because I'm pretty sure if you have been to some other channels, you will see comment sections full of scammers, right? Full of like scams, writing phone numbers, writing links, writing, all that sort of stuff. So let me quickly prepare what I'm about to show you here. Just putting it in my notes so that I can make sure to show you. Almost there. Checking the final few things. Prepping. Should have probably prepped it before. Okay. Are you ready? So, there you go. Over the past 1 year and a little bit, every word that is in this list will make sure that your comment does not appear, because these are words that scammers have used over and over and over again, while most of these words are not used by community members. So just to let you know, right, that if your comment does not appear, it's because of something in here, which also means bot is a word, for example, right? Midst is a word, right? It's not like that common of a thing. So just so you know, like the word profit, for example, right? The typical words that scammers use to try and scam you, but words that are not generally used by community people, are in this list. And it's of course very difficult to filter the exact words that scammers always use compared to what people use. But I've done my best over the past year, to come have this list of words based on the comments, because they write comments, the scammers write comments, and I select a word that avoids the comment for to reappear. But yes, sometimes maybe you use that word and you are not gonna have a comment that is gonna be visible. So there you go. Now you know what I'm dealing with to make sure that this channel is as scam free as possible. And honestly, I prefer comments not appearing compared to you guys getting scammed. And if you have a problem with that, of course, then I'm sorry. But I prefer to have everyone safe and sound on this channel, not getting scammed, not having scam messages, having a clean comment section, having a clean live chat, compared to people getting fucked but have their messages, their one little comment appear in a live chat. So just so you know, that is the list, and words will be added as we go along, as scammers always try to innovate. But this is the reason why this channel is incredibly scam free. On YouTube, on Discord, we there's no scammers in the group. We manage that very, very sharply. The problem is with Discord that there's other ways for scammers to contact you, and which we can't avoid. So make sure you check the scammers alert channel to know how to deal with that. But everything on YouTube is under mine or the moderator's control with regards to the words, and we try to make it as safe as we can. So there you go. So now you know. So you can make a screenshot of that list, and if ever you have a word or comment not appearing, check that list. So okay, cool. That being said, what's written in here? Bina, welcome. Abderrahmin, good to have you here as well. Yanis, Andrew, Zarafan, welcome, guys. Mohammed from Pakistan as well. Many here. Oh, okay, I see. Cheers, Sibel. I'll make sure to check it out later. How to learn trading from the beginning? Good question, which I will answer in a second before I will start the analysis. David, Sam, welcome. Seriga, good to have you here, Seriga. You should add up and down so you won't be getting, is Bitcoin going up and down? Yeah, it also gives the opportunity to explain the question, and it's not really like a scam thing. It would be hard having a crypto channel, but can't say dollar or board. Yeah. I prefer people not getting scammed compared to people using those words. So was just testing. So far it works perfectly fine. It's no problem, right? This channel has grown incredibly fast over the past year without any problems. And yes, if a comment doesn't appear, then make sure to rewrite the comment. Malon, welcome. Varun, Odinbill. Yes, I can imagine. Scam-free content, exactly. That's what we do. Florian, welcome. Where's the free speech? You want to get scammed? I know you said we don't look at CVD in small time, but there is a higher low in price, lower low in CVD on the daily. No, the daily always goes down. If you zoom out, so it's local. That's most important. Yeah, the local is always most important. The daily is not really interesting for CVD because it just always goes down. If you zoom out and you include 2021, 2022, it keeps going down. Yeah. Signalized trading, welcome back. Good to have you here again. Second day in a row. 212 Moe. Okay. The USDT ban in Europe. Yeah, I've not really read too much about it. Maybe a Band-Aid knows a lot about it. But by the way, Jajun, welcome. And Giotti as well. Coffeeholic, what's up, guys? But yeah, it's just got to manage it different. Like I really enjoy USDT. It's what I trade. So I have to check how I get into trading with USDT. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. I never care about fundamentals, but this is something that will change a little bit of like the way I trade as well. So, okay. Hello from India. What's up, guys? Training Viewed, Puneeth, Overset Tim, 003. 59k again. There's definitely, at the moment on the daily, higher probabilities for that to happen. Which platform can I use for futures trading in the USA? Riz John, check the description where I rode in front of BTCC and Blowfin. Two great platforms that you can use in the US. So those are the ones that I recommend in the US. I also wrote before those platforms US, because I got specifically questions from people in the US asking me like, yo, do you know a good platform? And I've added two for your choice. So make sure to check them out. And also, of course, if you do register with the link that's behind them, then thanks for the support. As it does support the channel. It's of course an affiliate link. Yeah, it is quite interesting, hey, the USDT stuff. Yeah, I also always like USDT. I don't like my portfolio to change. When I'm not in front of the chart, I'm not trading. I don't like to see my portfolio go up and down without my control. So I like to always trade USDT. But yeah, we'll see. We're going to do the analysis, guys. That's what we're going to do. So all the questions about where's price going will be answered. So to fully delete. How you mark all the items in the object tree. To fully delete, just click, press shift, click somewhere else, and then click delete. What's up, Divin? Isabel set up CVD in Kraken Pro. CVD is not an indicator on an exchange. It is the one I use. It's in trading or in AGGR. So I don't know if you can use it in an exchange. I've never actually used it. Probably you can, but then it's a trading view CVD, which is inferior compared to AGGR. Yeah. What would you use if it's banned? I don't know yet. I'll have to figure it out. What's up, Kiki? Brahim, welcome. What's up, everyone? Wow, it's so many people here. What's happening? I can't keep up. We just started. Like, what are we doing here? This is going to be a problem when the channel is growing even more. What's up, Hoshi? How you doing? How you doing? Good question this morning as well, Hoshi. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to start, okay? And then I'll answer all, remaining, or not all, depends on how many questions, but I will answer remaining questions later. Quickly organize my object tree here. Up. So, of course, this morning we zoomed into the higher, we spoke about the higher time frame. And that consisted of the weekly and the daily time frame. Now, of course, in today's live stream, I also want to take a look on the lower time frames. And we had some news, as mentioned this morning as well, right? 2:30 p.m. Central European time. So that's about 26 minutes ago. So it might increase the volatility on the chart. And if we go to the 1 minute, you can see we had a bit of volatility on the chart, which is always interesting to see. So yeah, we're going to analyze this piece of price action as well. Now, before we start, I want to let you hear the sound that makes every man very happy. There you go. I can hear my wife laughing. By the way, this is just... just for checks, this is 0.0, everyone. Okay, 0.0. It's no alcohol. Funny shit. Okay, let's start. We will do a quick run through on the weekly. I just want to repeat, because of course America wakes up now. So we're going to do a quick review here and then jump into the lower time frames, which means I have to move. What's this? Yeah, I'm just going to move these folders to the upside and then I'll figure out later which ones I want to do or not do. So it's going to be a summary, right? We're going to go through this whole list, by the way. So all of this. So it's going to be it looks like a lot of info, but it's going to be very quick. We're going, and of course, we will end with the probabilities, as we always do. So as an Elliott wave analyst, it is important to have multiple scenarios on different time frames. Per time frame, one bull, one bear. That's the way it works. And then, of course, it's all about probabilities of these scenarios, and the probabilities are determined based on the rules and the guidelines of Elliott waves, right? So let's then start, shall we? In Leiden. Set your timer. Thanks, Mark. Good point. 21 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's start. So it's going to go quite quickly, but then you'll have a good idea of the probabilities on every time frame. Okay. Bullish weekly. Same old, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the primary as long as it is not invalidated. The invalidation is the 49.3K level, the 0.618, right? Because inside this 3, we look for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that means that we want to find support at the common target area for 4. We hit it once, preferably we're not dropping below, and hit 49.3. We want to finish this wave 3 in yellow to the upside. Again, the primary until invalidation hit. The moment invalidation is hit, 49.3K, this becomes the new primary. This is now the alternative, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Target for your wave 4 is a lot bigger, as you can see, 236.05, taken from the low to the high of 3. 42.8, 57.1. Invalidation, 37.7. Still a bullish scenario, but as you can see, you can still drop to the lower 40s and be absolutely fine. Because wave 2 is very shallow, the probabilities for a deeper wave 4 are higher. Now again, only if you hit 49.3K will this scenario become the bullish scenario. At the moment it is an alternative. In other words, the highest probabilities remain for this scenario as long as 49.3 is not touched. Because in the end, we trade probabilities. A couple of things that I like to use next to Elliott wave analysis is everything you see in my content, including volume profiles. This is a volume profile from this range here. We had this volume profile on the chart since the moment we actually broke out. So it's been a long time since we have been watching this volume profile. Resistance at the value area low, resistance at the value area high, support on the point of control, breakout. By all means, we do not want to go below 49.5. That increases the probabilities to continue this range. In other words, close below the range. If you then retest, the probabilities are high to move to the point of control. And that is the moment we're going to talk about bear markets, which is completely irrelevant at the moment as we are still at 61K. The channel, interesting, taken from this low to the high here. Currently inside the channel once again. We tested it once, nice move up. Currently we're back in the channel. Closing a candle, this is typically channel probabilities, but if you close a candle back in the channel, the probabilities increase to eventually hit the midline. Doesn't mean you go down to hit the midline. You can of course continue ranging and eventually just by time hit the midline as well. It's just that probabilities increase to hit that midline eventually, but the longer price range is sideways. I mean, eventually you're going to hit it, no? So it's all a probability. Weekly gap. We had a gap here on the weekly chart, tested once. As always, the moment you test a gap for the first time, the probabilities are high. You actually find support and the reaction. Got a good reaction here, price moving up. We're testing it for the second time. Now that is no problem, but what we don't want to see is price closing a weekly candle in the gap, increases probabilities to move down to 53K. Right now, of course, the more often you test support, the weaker it becomes. This is now the second time, but we haven't yet closed a weekly candle inside the gap. Okay. So the weekly time frame I think is very clear, right? Probabilities on the weekly are higher for continuation to the upside and continue the bigger trend. So, something else that is good to know, and I will make a video about this for the Elliott Wave educational playlist, right? So if you would go to my channel, there's a playlist on the channel, and everything you have to know about Elliott Waves is already in this playlist. But of course, there's a couple of things that are not core content, but things I like to add. One of these things is the 886. I'll make a video about that. But this 886 increases probabilities for price to take out the all-time high. So even without doing any analysis and making things very complex in this range, you already know the probabilities. And the reason why the 886 is so important, by the way, taken from the high to the low, is that the 886 is a very rare target for a wave 2. But it is common for a wave B or a wave X. In other words, the probabilities are higher that here we have a wave B or a wave X, and that any move to the downside is a wave C or a wave Y. But that therefore means that the probabilities are higher that all of this is a corrective structure, A, B, C, or W, X, Y. This in turn increases the probabilities to, after C or Y, continue the trend. Because if we are very bearish and we want price to turn around, and we're going to be talking about bear markets, you need an impulse to the downside, which is then what you see here. You would then need to count a wave 1 to look for a very big 3 to the downside with a minimum target of at least 46.6, but likely much, much lower. But because price hit the 886, the probabilities for a 2 are very low from an Elliott wave point of view. So therefore, the probabilities are higher. This is corrective price action, not impulsive price action, increasing the probabilities that sooner or later we turn around and continue the trend. At the moment, we are at the lower area of the range. It's always interesting to look for potential swing trades at the low of a bigger range and short swings, I suppose, at the higher end of a range, right? But by all means, the 886 touch is very important. So even if you only put one thing on the chart from an Elliott wave point of view, it would be that 886. It's touched. Okay, I know enough. Right? I know the probabilities. Our price is moving down. High probabilities it's a C or a Y. You don't even really have to know what it is. But that is going to be your probabilities anyway. Right? You're going to be looking for price to sooner or later move back towards the upside and continue the trend wherever it finds support. Of course, people love to try and get and like snipe the low, but these probabilities on a high time frame are important as they are interesting for potential swing trades. So as we then analyze this range in a little bit more detail, so now that that is clear, right? So weekly time frame bullish, and arguably the daily time frame, if we think about the 886, is bullish. But let's analyze this range in a little bit more detail. You may have seen a triangle scenario here and there. Now let me to get to the point immediately that this triangle has incredibly low probabilities for two reasons, as explained in the videos as well. First of all, let's start with the rules. 4 out of 5 waves has to be a zigzag structure, a simple 5-3-5 up or 5-3-5 down. Right? One of the waves can be a more complex structure, usually a double or triple zigzag. By far, most commonly, wave C or D. These are the two mentioned in the book, with wave C being labeled the most common and wave D alternative. Wave E by itself can be a triangle as well, but that is incredibly rare. Now, with that information, let's look at the zigzag of a wave A, 5-3-5, right? First of all, we need to count 5 waves in A and then 5 waves in C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The problem with this wave 4, as analyzed when price was moving down here, is that either this wave 4 is over 6 times the length of 2, which is incredibly rare, or wave 4 hits the 618, which is an invalidation for a wave 4. So counting this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has very low probabilities. But more importantly is this B, because this wave B has to end here, as on some charts, this high was taken with this high. So we can't really end a structure nicely here, because on some charts it's invalidated, right? And if wave B is a 3-wave structure, which it has to be, a zigzag family structure, it then has to be a WXY. The problem is that if you think about a double zigzag WXY, you want to see that in a C or a D, not in a B. So yeah, not great probabilities. Then we have a flat. Flat is a 3-3-5 wave structure. Price did not hit the 0.9. Flat, therefore, is low probabilities. It's not even valid because we didn't hit the 0.9. Then we have the bullish scenario. If this is a 1-2, so I'm just checking off the boxes. Let me quickly explain what I like to do. So when I analyze a chart, I like to do zigzag, flat, triangle, WXY. And I just go through them one by one. And I just check this range and I'm like, okay, zigzag, how does it look? Triangle, ta-ta. Of course, I put it on the chart now to make it visual. But this is pretty much what we're doing, is we're removing scenarios from our list, right? Triangle, okay, low probabilities. Flat is not valid, didn't hit the 0.9. Bullish scenario, where this is the low, no, I should say this differently, where this is the end of your wave 4, and this is a start 1-2 for then a bigger wave 3 to the upside, right? Not invalidated because price didn't take this low. However, on some charts at least, I know the 886 has been hit, which significantly reduces the probabilities. On my chart, however, it's not been hit. So this is a bit of a discrepancy between charts. Now, I had a look at the index chart earlier today, because the index chart is actually quite a nice chart to use. If you want to count Elliott waves, I do recommend the index chart. The only reason I use the Coinbase chart is because of a separate strategy that I trade, and the highs and the lows, I don't know, they just work. But also on the index chart, the 886 has not been hit, but I was informed that on some charts the 886 is hit. So I have a couple of charts here, so why not quickly have a look? I don't think on most charts it's hit. And if it's hit on your chart, make sure to write it in the chat. So this is the Bybit chart. On Bybit, also not hit. Someone was talking about a Binance chart. Because the 886 is very important for the probabilities of a wave 2, as mentioned, right? So, nope. Okay, actually interesting. I don't know, someone wrote that in a comment section one time because of Binance, but the 886 at least has not been touched, but, right, it did get very deep. Now the common target area for your wave 2 is the 05 to the 786. So we have hit the 786 area, 59.5k. All right. That is your maximum target for your wave 2. You don't want to hit the 886 at 58k on all the other charts. I literally have a list of charts. On none of these charts the 886 is hit. First time I check all of the other charts, someone said, yeah, on Binance it was hit, but you know, it's interesting. Anyway, I can't say it's hit. On many charts it's not. So that saves the scenario just a little bit. Now the 786, as mentioned, is a common target for a wave 2, so that is perfectly fine. We are now still ranging around the golden pocket. Now in this scenario, if this is the end of your wave 4, we need to count a wave 1, 2, and then a continuation to the upside looking for wave 3. This wave 1 is a little bit tricky because we need to count this as a 5-wave structure. However, and this is a real thing, discrepancy between charts. On some charts, this high took the one on the left, and on some others this high is not taken, and it's very chart dependent. So I know that on index this high has been taken. On my chart it's not been taken. So there's actually a big difference between many charts, Bybit, Binance, Bitstamp, all of the different charts. Some did, some didn't. Now a truncation in a wave 1 is incredibly rare. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a wave 5, where wave 5 doesn't take the high of 3. So counting this as an impulse is not great, but at least we didn't hit the 886, so that's something. So I guess the probabilities, right, for this scenario, when we think about Elliott waves, we do have the potential truncation here, which is incredibly rare, so that is not great. But compared to a flat and compared to a triangle, this scenario at least has higher probability, so arguably we can bump it up to medium. Because with the triangle, we have a problem with our wave C and wave B. The flat is not even valid because we didn't hit the 0.9. So at least your bullish scenario is medium, right? Cool. Figure that one out. Next. The volume profile. I love the volume profile. Volume profile is such a nice tool as well. Okay, and then we get to WXYs. Some people are a fan of WXYs, others aren't. Generally, it is best to stick with simple structures, but WXYs definitely appear on all of the time frames and should be considered as a scenario. In this case, we then have a WXY. Now, the probabilities also here is medium because of your wave X. So it is a scenario that is possible. There's no invalidation, but there's two reasons why it's nicer than a triangle and a flat, but it's on par with like the bullish scenario. And that is because of your wave X. In wave X, you have an expanding flat ABC. First of all, wave C is very long. It's over twice the length of A plus B, a fib time taken from the start of A to the end of B. Wave C being twice the length of A plus B is very uncommon, right? Generally, your wave C is a very quick move to the upside and not ending after the two. So that significantly lowers probabilities. Second, your wave C, of course, has the same truncation as a wave 1. So your wave C ends with a truncation, which is not what we like to see, and impacts the probabilities. By all means, we are in the common target area for wave Y. Wave Y has to be a zigzag structure to the downside or can still develop into a triangle itself. But a triangle in a wave Y is very uncommon. So inside a WXY, if wave W is not a zigzag, then the probabilities for wave Y are highest to be a zigzag. Second position is another flat, and the third position is a triangle. So because of the regular flat structure in W, the probabilities are highest for wave Y to then be a zigzag, a 5, a 3, a 5 wave structure on the lower time frames, where preferably your low is in. And we're going to have a look at the lower time frame here. There is only one potential count that can lead to still one more low for a wave C and then an A, B, C. But we're gonna have a look at that in a second. So probabilities, medium, and then we have the zigzag to the downside. Moving down to the lower 50s, by the way, is absolutely no problem. It's probably only a problem for people that are going to have their liquidations hit if that happens. Now with the zigzag here, it's a 535 ABC. So we have a contracting diagonal in A, then a B, and a wave C to the downside. Common target for C, the most common target is the 1 to the 1.236, right? That's the area where preferably you see support and then move back towards the upside. The 1.618 is an extension target. Preferably, we don't go there because the weekly higher probability scenario has an invalidation of 49.3, right? The one that we keep an eye on at the moment, the primary. Now, there's two details with this scenario, which brings this scenario on par with the bullish and the WXY. And that is, first of all, in the leading diagonal, which is absolutely valid, your wave 3 is longer than your wave 1, just by a few dollars. Now that is not an invalidation, but it just doesn't happen often, right? So as you can see, we got wicks below the 1 to 1. Wave 3 in the diagonal is longer than your wave 1. It's not an invalidation based on a new rules from Elliott Wave International with diagonals. Actually, I say new, but it's been published in a book that's already a couple of years old. But nonetheless, it's not an invalidation, but it impacts it impacts probabilities. It's good to know. Second, we need a wave B to finish here, and the wave B has to be a 3-wave structure. So either A, B, C to the upside, finish B here, and then count is 1, 2, looking for a 3, 4, and a 5. But on some charts, your wave 2 took the high over here, which is an invalidation. Or we put wave B here, and then we need to count that WXY double zigzag in here. Wave Y is very short. Generally, the minimum target is the 0.618, which is up here. And wave Y did not take the high of W. In a double zigzag, it doesn't say it's a requirement, but it's very uncommon not to see that happen. So and then again, so the problem is that on some charts you took this high, on some other charts you didn't took the high. So it makes it very difficult to know which high is the high, if you know what I mean, right? Is it this high or is it this high? And therefore it's actually very interesting to just also focus on the count. Now, by all means, all of the scenarios shown are bullish scenarios, because whatever happens, we are looking for price to move to the upside and continue the trend, right? Move down for C, we look for continuation up. A finish wave Y, almost finish wave Y, we look for continuation up. Bullish scenario, we look for continuation up. The local structures, however, are a lot more interesting, as they, at the moment, because on the daily, we have the problem with the highs here, which makes it difficult to choose between WXY, the bullish scenario, and the ABC. But on a lower time frame, that is where we can get better ideas as new, fresh information comes in. Now, at the moment, the probabilities on a daily time frame are not higher for the bulls, right? They're higher to see another low instead of moving up. Only if price can actually, first of all, move above the value area low, retest this, right? Okay, that's a slight probability increase. From an Elliott wave point of view though, it's important to take 66.4K. That is the level you want to see tackled to increase the probabilities for bullish continuation, instead of taking the low here and then arguably take the low one lower. So that being said, moving to the 1 hour. Let's just focus on this piece of price action at the moment. What's up, Tortuga? Cool. Let me quickly see what my folders here have. Okay. I don't kind of move this one down, up, and that one as well. So if this is your low and we are looking for a move to the upside, either impulsive, where we expect continuation, or an ABC and eventually a move down, right, going for new lows, by all means, we want to at least count a 5-wave structure to the upside. That's where you want to start. Right, your first move up has to be a 5-wave impulsive structure. If this by itself is a corrective structure, probabilities are automatically higher to look for the lows. So, that being said, and with that in keeping that in mind, if we look for a bullish scenario, then this is the way to count a bullish scenario, no? We have a high after an impulsive structure to the upside, which has to be counted as a diagonal in a wave 1 or a wave A. Also here, bit of discrepancy between charts. On some charts, your wave 4 is longer than your wave 2, which is an invalidation for a diagonal. But on some other charts, like the index chart, wave 4 is shorter than 2. So that is why I still consider it, at least. But then we have wave 2 or B and continuation up in a wave C or wave 3. The most common target for your wave 2 is the blue box. 05786 taken from the start to the end of your wave 1 is 60.4K, 59.2K. The common target for your wave B is the 382 to the 886. The 382 is a target for a wave 2, but it is uncommon. So the moment you bounce from a 382, probabilities would be higher for a wave C up compared to a wave 3 up. It's all probabilities though. C or 3. Now, as you can see, we have hit this target area here. The low is also made after the 382 fib time, which is both for 2 and B or B common to have at least a high or a low. In this case, we look for a low in 2 or B made after the 0.382. So that is good to see. And then we either look for this to be the end of 2 or B and continuation, or of course, we have a bigger range and eventually continue to the upside. Now we will zoom into this, but keep this scenario in mind, right? This is your bullish scenario, and as you can see, there's still enough room to the downside, and time-wise, this ranging structure so far perfectly fits the time guidelines compared to a wave 1 or a wave A. Now, I didn't update my folders here, so I quickly got to check. A flat structure. In a flat, we would be looking for a wave A, B, and then a wave C to the downside. Right? The regular flat target is the 09105, which has been hit. And then you want to see a wave C down. Now, commonly, wave C is a quick impulsive structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Common target is down here. But after we made this high, we have been moving in a very sideways manner instead of an impulsive structure to the downside. So let me spectate. That's a short C. We will do a little bit of live analysis in a little bit, but if we are looking for a C down, then we want to count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure. In a regular flat, you want to take the low of A. The only flat that doesn't take the low of A is a running flat. A, B, and then a wave C doesn't take the low of A and then already continue its way to the upside. But then you still want to count a 5-wave structure. And because of all the overlap we have here, we then have to think about diagonals, which is something that Bettina, in case you're here, Bettina, in case Bettina is here, had on her chart in Discord as well. So we are going to analyze this part of the chart in a little bit. CVD. Let's see what the new information has shown us. Okay, there's no bullish CVDs locally, but we do have bullish CVDs here. Yes. Okay. So what we have is okay, that's an interesting one. I'm gonna add this as well. I will explain what I see in a second. Okay, so okay. CVD is important for my probabilities usually as well. So we have a bullish CVD, right? Bullish CVDs in green, bearish CVDs in red. This one already played out, by the way, so let me remove this. That one played out. Are there any other local? Yes, there is. Cool. What's up, Rudy? How you doing? Okay, so the bullish and bearish CVDs are on my chart. And I use the AGGR chart. Quite often get questions about where I get it from. It's not a indicator and trading view. I put these on my chart manually, as you've seen. More information is in Discord or the CVD video on my channel, which is in the educational playlist. So we have bullish and bearish CVDs. Now we had first a bullish CVD, price moving to the upside, countered with the bearish CVDs here locally. Right. Now we know this move to the upside here had bullish CVDs. We were literally live when we were observing the bullish CVDs to the upside, which was interesting, which was a trade that I took in this range as well. So it was only this portion of the chart, but that is perfectly fine. And since then, I have not actually been really involved in the action. We have bullish CVDs here. Now, the reason that this line is interesting in particular is because it is the blue CVD line. Now, blue is aggregated, yellow is Bybit. Do not worry that yellow is one platform and blue is multiple platforms. They are both as important to me. Some people may use different lines, but I got accustomed to these two for years already now. But on blue, we have a higher low in price, lower low on this CVD. That's where the range started. Since then, on blue, we have a bearish CVD. Lower high on price, higher high on blue, right? Lower high, higher high. However, that same blue line with the previous range, we didn't take the low yet. We have a higher low on price, but clearly lower lows on blue. So, and this is interesting. It's the same color line, but we have a bearish CVD on blue and then more locally a bullish one. So to invalidate the bullish CVD, you need to move below this range. Increases the probabilities to take that low, if that happens. And other than that, so that's something I keep an eye on. It's very neutral, right? We have a bullish CVD here, another bearish CVD here. There's not much to say. So bit of live checking. Now price hit the 886 here at the high. The 886 is a target for two structures, either a wave and then I'm talking about if this is a wave 1 or a wave A. If we look for a corrective structure, right, of course X and B can end at an 886 and then eventually have a C or Y down and continue up to take the high. If we want to end a structure at the 886, we need to think about a WXY or a triangle where one of the subwaves ends at the 886. Still too early to look for triangles in this range. In my opinion, you can have an A, B, C, D, and then a wave E finishing over here. I'm not too big of a fan, but at least there's the possibility, I suppose. But I'm not too big of a fan of A, B, C, D, E, where D cuts time very short compared to your A and your B, and ratio is important between the different wave structures. So I'm not too fond of it. Yeah. Bearish CVD is on blue on a 3-minute time frame. However, because of the 886, the probabilities are higher to still take out this high at some point. And that is the probabilities I mentioned yesterday when price made this high and then started retracing. And the reason is, if we want to end a structure at the 886, as mentioned, we have to either have a triangle, A, B, C, 886 touch, D, E. Now, this wave D, okay, let me approach this differently. Besides this wave D being very short in time compared to A and B, you of course want zigzag structures in a triangle. And if this is an A, B, C zigzag, your wave C only hit the rare target for a wave C and not the common target, which is the 1 to the 1.236. So the fact it is very short decreases the probabilities that this move down here is a zigzag, which impacts the probabilities for a triangle by itself. Now we also, of course, hit the 886. So if we want to end the structure here, it's either the triangle, but the triangle not yet really looking that great, right? Because of the structure to the downside we have. Alternatively, you have a WXY. Now with a WXY, we talk about a sideways WXY, a sideways double combo. Wave W can only be a zigzag or a flat. Zigzag, 535, or a flat ABC. But it's clearly not a flat. So then it has to be a zigzag 535, which means that your wave Y has to be a flat in a W, X, and then a wave Y to the upside. But this structure counts better as a corrective move to the upside as covered yesterday. If we want to count an impulse up here, first of all, your structure here ends on the highest amount of volume. Now that is by far most common for wave 3 and not a wave 5. So if we see the highest amount of volume, what are we thinking? We're thinking wave 3. 1, 2, boom, wave 3, highest amount of volume, 4, 5. So what we wanted to see was another 4, 5. Instead, we moved to the downside. So this is not ideal for counting this an impulsive structure for a flat A, B, and then a wave C to the upside. Probabilities suggest that this is a three-wave structure, and three wavers like wave C or a wave Y do like to end on a high amount of volume. So in other words, the probabilities are higher that move to the upside is a corrective structure and not an impulsive structure. Right. Makes me think that, of course, the most bearish scenario would still be diagonal correction, continuation. But that's, diagonals are not that common that every structure is a diagonal, but that would be your most bearish scenario. But as long as you don't like move impulsively to the downside and you get corrective structures here, the probabilities are higher that you did not end something here with a WXY. WXY, the flat has to be an ABC. It's not a wave C or low probabilities. It's an impulse to the upside. So therefore, low probabilities. This is the end of your wave Y. Wave Y can also be a triangle, WX and then A, B, C, D, E. But at the moment, a triangle is still irrelevant based on the local structures we have here, right? So in other words, WXY, not great probabilities. Then you have the bigger triangle A, B, C, D, E, but as mentioned, also not great. So yeah, probabilities would be higher to still take out that high at some point. And if we look at support and resistance, to the downside, we have the blue box here, 60.2, 60.4. And to the upside, really, you have some good resistance, 64.1 to 65.1, which is still, of course, quite a journey to get there. But that is the first great area of resistance. Unless you just wick the double top that you've created. So that is, of course, arguably most bearish. Wick the top, swing failure pattern, close below, impulse to the downside. Other than that, there's not much going on here. It's very empty, very empty. All of my folders are now open, by the way, as you can see here. Right, so yeah, we have a daily just below us, 68, bit of support, 62, bit of support, small little point of control of this structure here, but yeah, to the upside. Yeah. So yeah, that's the probabilities locally for you. And then we let price do its thing, no? And then based on new information, we reanalyze. That's a nice thing about Elliott waves. It's always puzzling, yeah? We're live puzzling. Gotta love it. Okay. Okay. So there you go, guys. Probability summary, I suppose. Weekly time frame, bullish. On the daily, we have the bullish scenario, the WXY, and the zigzag. It's a bit tricky to really pick one because they all have their inefficiencies and their problems. Because of the double top at 72k, where on some charts you took the high, some others you didn't. So you either have a truncation when you think about an impulse, which means in a bullish scenario, wave 1 from 56 to 72 has a truncation, or in a WXY sideways scenario, wave C has a truncation. So that's of course not ideal. While in the zigzag, your wave A is a leading diagonal, with wave 3 being a little bit longer than 1. That's perfectly fine. It's just something that's not often, that you don't see it too often, but it happens. And your wave B has to be a 3-wave structure, which then has to end at one of these highs. It's just that the highs mess up the daily time frame, the 72k highs, both of them. And then locally for now, the probabilities are high to still take out that high at some point. And if new information comes in, we'll see. So yeah. I also just I like the lower time frames. Generally a bit more clear. With regards to questions about CVD, I saw a few. Make sure to check out AGGR Trade. That's the website. It's just a free website, open to everyone. Here's a one-pager, and I also made a video about CVD, which you find on the channel, right? And here's the template I use. So CVD, of course, at the moment is quite mixed, right? There's a lot of CVD divergences, but there's not one clear direction. But the bearish CVDs here do have the 886 touch, right? So yeah, probabilities locally would still be to eventually take out this high until proven otherwise. So and we just see what kind of new information we get step by step. Oh yeah. This is important with the probabilities. I was thinking what am I missing? I was missing something with what I wanted to say. So weekly probabilities bullish. The daily probabilities, I'm not sure if I forgot, but the daily probabilities are bearish to take out this low, unless you can get back in the range, volume profile retest, right? That step 1. Take 64.5, little step 2, but 66.4. That's an important one, right? So that is on the daily time frame important. Now, eventually, with all daily scenarios, we look for upside, right? But with to be more specific, we've only lost support all the time, right? We are now ranging below the value area low as well. So we need to get into this volume profile again as a bare minimum to start increasing probabilities for the bulls. As long as you don't get back inside this volume profile, retest, move up. So this is how different time frames, of course, have different probabilities. Now the probabilities that always change first. I actually had an interesting conversation. I think it was also in one of the comment sections of the video. I always love answering questions, and I got a questions about, which was a very good question about probabilities and how they change. So the first probabilities that will always change are the low time frame ones. So when, for example, when you have a bullish scenario on a weekly time frame, right? And then eventually you have the daily, and then you have the 4 hour, and then you have the 1 hour, and then you have the 15 minutes, right? Well, what's that, 5? The probabilities that are going to change first is the 15 minute. So imagine we are, for the sake of the example, imagine we are bearish on the weekly, right? So we have a bearish structure on the weekly. On a 15-minute time frame, that is the area where we first spot bullish probabilities. Now, when certain levels are taken, then the 1 hour probabilities turn bullish. Based on the 1 hour and some levels taken, the 4 hour turns bullish, then the daily, and then the weekly. So it's step by step. So whenever something happens on the chart, we can't immediately change weekly probabilities to bearish. It always starts on the lower time frames first, and it's like a waterfall, right? So on the 15 minutes, we're bearish, but it doesn't mean that probabilities on the 15 minute are bearish, so the weekly is bearish, right? It's completely different time frames. It's not relevant. But the 15-minute probabilities might turn into 1 hour probabilities, which can turn into 4 hour, daily, weekly probabilities, and maybe even monthly probabilities. And I think a great example of this was at the 15K low. So here, at the lows, we had an impulsive structure to the upside and a retracement, big bullish CVD divergences, but you're coming off a weekly downtrend. So you're not going to be like, yo, mate, this is the low after a very three-way V structure down as well. But locally, right, probabilities were higher to move up. And I still remember especially this structure up, because here, the 1 hour started showing bullish CVD, bullish CVD, bullish CVD, right? Then we got this big move towards the upside. So slowly but surely, your 4 hour probabilities change. And then on the daily, we took the highs. So then we had either a potential flat as a bearish scenario or an impulse as a bullish scenario. Those were the two options, right? So this is how probabilities then start to change. And then the daily slowly started changing. And then eventually, the weekly starts changing when price pretty much went here and moved up. So yeah, interesting, no? Especially once we took this high, that was a big probabilities change for the weekly time frame to be bullish. So every move after was on a weekly time frame buying opportunity. So that is how probabilities change per time frame, right? So it starts on a low time frame and then it can escalate into multiple time frames. Okay, let me quickly, I will answer all the questions here, but have a quick look up what's been written. Wait till you have 2,000 in the chat. I can't. I won't be able to keep up, that's for sure. True, Andrew, for Sunday. Set your timer. Oh, wait. Elliott wave analysis at 21 minutes. Hello? Okay, there we go. Zafar, Turkish guy. Max Trades Crypto, welcome back from holiday. Where did you go to? Good to have you back. So how you been doing? Have you been trading at all during your holiday? I mean, you know, holiday. I guess you didn't. But yeah, it's a complex range. But what mainly throws scenarios of is the double top here on a daily, because on some charts you have a truncation, on some other charts you took the high. It makes it difficult on a daily time frame. Tricky. Fukra, how are you doing? Have you ever kept statistics on how often scenarios with the least probability turn out to be correct? I mean, your personal statistic, not the rules in the book. No, because scenarios are always evolving. And based, actually pretty much what I just mentioned, based on new local price action, probabilities change. So especially on the higher time frames, you can have a scenario which is good to have, because it is good to think about the scenarios and the different options. But before you even get close to, on a weekly time frame, scenarios playing out, things can change easily on a 1 hour, 4 hour, and then eventually the weekly changes as well. I'm very much someone that loves to observe the lower time frames, 15 minute, 1 hour, because that's where the shit happens. That's where probabilities are, for me, very, very important and very interesting. I also enter my trades on that time frame, but I might hold them on the higher time frames. But I don't track statistics on the lowest probabilities playing out eventually. In the end, it's Elliott waves, and as waves are, they are always changing, always evolving, and we just have to move along. So you can have a lower probability, which turns into a higher. All right, you can have a zigzag as a scenario, or a double zigzag as a scenario. And a double zigzag, of course, has lower probabilities than a single zigzag. But once you got a single zigzag in, right, and you get a three-wave move up, maybe we get there. But originally, your lower probability is a double zigzag, but it might happen instead of a single zigzag. I think in my triangle videos, those are the ones to watch, where a triangle is never your highest probability scenario, as long as you don't at least have a wave C, but preferably wave D in. You can't think about triangles after a wave B. Right? There's other scenarios that easily have higher probabilities. Now, with this in mind, right, imagine you have a three-wave structure in a wave A, you have a three-wave structure in a wave B, right, both zigzag structures. Now, you will have people that be like, oh, triangle, right? They're going to be looking for C and eventually D, and they're going to be looking for E. This is never the highest probability. Your first scenario here is not going to be a triangle, right? You're going to be thinking about different structures here. W, X, Y, potentially double zigzags depending on the retracement, even a flat. If you move to the downside here and you hit the 0.9, but you don't take the low and you move up, probabilities are higher for a regular flat than a triangle. And then you're going to move above A and invalidate a triangle. However, as price continues, right? Three wave up, three wave down, three wave up. Okay, triangle. So you never start with the highest probability being a triangle after a wave B, preferably not even after a wave C. I only look at triangles from a wave D onwards, because it doesn't make sense to look at triangles before wave D, in my opinion, because other scenarios have a higher probability. And in the playlist, this one, if you go to the triangle videos, I have many more examples that show how probabilities change as new information comes in. So even though a triangle is not the highest probability, because your highest probabilities first are going to be flat or a WXY or a single zigzag structure, it might become the highest probability as new information comes in. Now that doesn't mean that a zigzag or a flat is incorrect. Because trading-wise, it's about being on the good side of a trade, right? When new information comes in, if you have a zigzag to the upside and you get a retracement, right, and the retracement is corrective to the downside, we're going to be looking for longs. But we don't know if this long is going to be eventually a wave C in a flat if we move to the 0.9, but don't take the low. Is this going to be a wave C for a flat? Is this going to be another zigzag? Right? Is it going to be a WXY? We don't know. But what we can do with Elliott waves is trade the long and then manage it accordingly. And then based on new information coming in, we adjust. All right? At least on the lower time frames, that's a good thing to do. On the higher time frames, when swing trading, that's price moves very slowly, so things take a lot more time. So if one shorts at the 886, which is always an interesting place to short, you just follow with price, and the 15-minute stuff doesn't really matter if you trade a weekly time frame, right? So probability is always changing. So your lower probability might become your higher probability, and your highest probability might become a lower probability. But that is as new information comes in, and this is also what the newer people struggle with the most, based on the comments I receive, is how probabilities change as new information comes in. As people tend to be very stuck to one scenario and they look at just this, and then they either wait for invalidation to be hit or for it to play out. But in that area, you get a lot more information that can change everything. The 2nd of July, some more news coming. Fukra, the more it range here, the more bullish it is. Yeah, so this range, that depends on the local range really, but this range in a bearish scenario is either a wave 2 or a wave 4. One, two, three, four, five. Corrective structure. Very short in time. Not an invalidation, as time is never an invalidation nor a confirmation. It's a probability changer, right? So it is a very short B or 2. But then in this case, you want to count this as, in the bearish case, a 2. And then another 1, 2 continuation. So double 1, 2 is your most bearish scenario. 1, 2, 1 second. I have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's something I considered in the beginning, but it's very awkward because it's an expanding diagonal. If you count this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You have an expanding diagonal, which generally is very rare, never preferred, unless all of the other scenarios fail, which is not yet the case. But then in this case, you need a 1 here. You have another 2, either here or here. We need to then analyze. It has to be WXY structure because of the 3-wave nature here. So that means this has to be a flat ABC. That is your W. This is your X. This is your Y. WXY. So then preferably, so you have WX zigzag, which can work. WX and then you wave Y here. So that is then your, wait, this is A/1. This is 2/B. And then if we're looking for a wave C, then preferably your C is finished at the low, because if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 hit the 0.618, taken from 2 to 3, which is an invalidation. All right? We don't want to see that. Same for a wave 2. If this is your 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't work. 1, 2, 1, 2 works, or 1, 2, that's your second 1, 2. Only if you end wave 2 here can you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the high of 2 to the low of 3. You didn't yet hit the 618 for a wave 4. But as you can see, it becomes very, very messy. Right? Very messy. So yeah, it's not great. But yeah, on the daily time frame, the probabilities are bearish till proven otherwise. It's just not. It's not. Yeah, that's that, right? So it doesn't really make sense on a daily time frame or on the higher time frame to think different as long as there's no strength being shown on the chart. So yeah. So eventually probabilities are higher to move down unless we start to flip some levels on a daily time frame. DARPON. Daily on the 25th. Yeah, so with regards to indeed wicks on both sides, it has one. So this is fine. Yes. If you talk about no wick candles, right? You really want to see on a daily time frame, you want to see a completely like flat structure. Like the candle opens and it pretty much just moves up. That is then what you're looking for. Bit of a volume increase here. The 1-2 scenario. Yeah, the bearish scenario, I guess that is. Or the bullish one, you mean? The bullish one too, I can't give a bullish one to highest probability with a truncated 1 and a wave 2 that it went deep but it didn't hit the 886. But the truncation in 1 is very awkward. It's so awkward, and like when you see a truncation on a daily time frame here, right? Like on a daily time frame, some charts have a truncation here. The probabilities are automatically higher that you have a corrective structure and not an impulsive structure, because an impulse on a daily time frame with a truncation, I've never seen that before on a daily time frame. It's so rare for that to happen. So the probabilities would then be higher. You have a corrective move up, and a corrective move would of course support a zigzag ABC. By all means, even a flat structure is by itself a corrective structure, but it's just that instead of an impulse, a three-wave structure has to at least be considered because of the truncation, making it very, very complex on the daily time frame. Yeah, the daily is a pain in the ass. Yeah, I think this was explained. Hold shift. Yeah, exactly. Put the fib on your chart, hold shift, and then you can move it horizontally. Correct. The index chart is an interesting one. So I do tend to check index, and actually I have been considering counting Elliott waves on the index chart. It's just that I have all my stuff on this chart. So it's, I don't know, maybe it's lazy, but I think, and Tim will know, we actually spoke about it. I think what I will do is quite soon put on a live stream where I will go to the index chart and I will put all my scenarios on the index chart. So it's not covering the Elliott wave scenarios and stuff. It's just showing people how I put the counts, how I make my folders and everything, because it's empty. I have nothing on index. It's an empty chart. But index is definitely one like, oh, I have a couple of vertical lines. No idea where they are. Where? Okay, here. No, that's a horizontal one. Okay, no idea. So yeah, I don't have anything going on index, but I have been thinking about using doing Elliott waves on the index chart instead of the Coinbase chart. Now the reason I use Coinbase is because it works best with another strategy I have because of the highs and lows on the Coinbase chart. I don't know, it's just based on data. It just works. But my Elliott wave trading is actually a lot more profitable than the other strategy in this bull market and also in the ranges. So yeah, I am trading Elliott waves most often, or Elliott wave related trades. So I might just use index which generally is a good chart, yes. And I guess it's also in some way interesting to see someone having an empty chart and then putting all the different scenarios on the chart. Rudy, welcome. Anyone here, by the way, gonna watch Formula One in 25 minutes? I will. Any expectations in Austria for the sprint quali? Max Payne scenario 58-59. Yeah, like psychology scenarios, or the best psychology scenario is, of course, creating a lot of fear in the market. People thinking that the bull market is finished because we are back, or we move below 56k and this is the end, and la di la di la. Yeah, that's the best moment to go long. No financial advice. Volume profile settings, sure. So quickly put on a chart. Extend right, of course, depending on what you're looking for, you can use extend right or not. Value area is 70. I do have different row sizes preset over here. So I have 148, 300, 500, 1,000, 5,000, depending on the time frame and how much information I cover, but my most used is 300 and 148. Price under the value area low, yes. Agree. With regards to longs, very, very patient. Like I saw an opportunity here yesterday, so I took it just before the live stream. But in this range, I had a short here, which I covered in the setups update. So it's the first link in the description as well. But that is so initially I was looking for something like this. So short towards the box and then long from somewhere around the box and then up. I put on the golden pocket, but I don't have things preset. I just look for signs of strength. So I was looking for a move to the downside, and this is it's completely free, the setups channel. I just explained why setups are interesting from an Elliott wave point of view. So if you want to learn more about how to trade Elliott waves, feel free to check it out. But I was looking for a short here. As we grind it up, very much a diagonal structure. And I already entered here, but then price moved down and came back up to give another opportunity, which was here with bearish CVDs. I mean, it was great. It was a good one. And then I, of course, was looking for a long, right? We don't really know how far price goes, but in the video, even in the live stream, I explained exactly what I was looking for, and also in the setups channel. And there were three things, and it was CVD related as well. Is first of all, create a bounce without bearish CVDs, because every bounce here had bearish CVDs. Create one without or invalidate the bearish CVDs. Second, I want to see price grinding up with bullish CVDs, and that is what happened here. So that is why I entered the long. I had the plan, followed the plan, executed the plan, made profit. So yeah. But I agree that now, after the short I had here and the long I had here, and I said it this morning. One second, I said this morning. Oh yeah. Regarding new positions, it's difficult locally because on the daily, the probabilities would be higher for another low. However, I'm not yet really seeing a clear finished count in this local range, so I'm not too interested yet. You never know, I might always get interested later. Also, not really interested in longs with the local info we have at the moment. We have both bearish and bullish CVD divergences as well. So yeah, might be a patient day to see what price gives us before the weekend hits. If clarity appears, I'm happy to join later. That is the latest post from the setups channel. And as you can see, I don't have anything prepped. I don't have anything on my chart. I'm not looking for any position at the moment. I'm happy to miss out if anything happens. Who cares? But I want to trade high probability stuff. And for me at the moment, I don't like for longs. I now need to see price moving back into the value area to get at least a bit more confidence, not wick the highs and then move down. If we don't wick the highs, then we might move to the box here, which can be an interesting long, but that's a breakout type of long. Not too big of a fan of breakout trades. And I'm also not interested in a short, as there's no clear sign of like, yo, this range is finished, and down we go. So with when we trade, as we are traders, right? Everyone hopefully here is aiming to be one or is a trader. We of course look for high probability setups, and whenever the probabilities are not very clear, I am happy to be on the sidelines and be a spectator. Just wait. But I completely agree, Andrew, 100%. Is there any other level between 60 to 400 that increases the bullish odds? Between 60 to 400? I mean, the value area low, which is what we touched here. So past 62.4, and then you get back in the value area. So if you can get back, close a high time frame candle, retest and change the market structure, grab the high again, step one. Moving above here, 64.5 is step two, but that is exactly your resistance area. So in other words, past the resistance here, right? And your probability is high to move up. So those are just like the step by step. That's the staircase. You got to walk those probabilities. How do you feel on BTCC? I saw all the partners before even. So I'm very picky. I only had BingX as a partner for almost 3/4 of a year, like 9 months. But because BingX is moving to KYC, some people wrote me like, yo, do you know any exchanges that don't require KYC, and which ones do you recommend? So I've done a lot of research, had a couple of meetings, and BTCC and Blowfin were two that came out. And so I like both of them, absolutely. So, and of course, if you're interested, you can check out the description. Obviously, those are affiliate links, so you will support the channel if you register through one of those. And of course, we do our best, and I do my best to get you the best deals and the best bonus structures and, free money and whatever we can do, campaigns. So while you are trading, you get free stuff just by doing what you always do, which is trading. And if you don't want to support the channel, then of course just Google and look at the platform. What is this daily range? 6400. 60. The daily, that's our time frame horizontal. So that is this. Candle closes, candle opens, and then the second candle is closing in profit, which means now here we have a so-called daily, like a daily level. So it's a support resistance area, basically. And we have two to the downside, as you can see, right? Daily 1, daily 2. Small little point of control as well here. It's not like a great, it's an amazing area of support. But it's at least you have a small little point of control of the range here. We have a daily here. You do have a bit of a point of control in the 1 hour, but you don't really want to go too far down, I suppose. Of course, in a bullish scenario, you still have a potential ABC 1, 2, 3, but you first on the daily. The thing is, the daily time frame is probabilities are bearish unless you see signs of strength. So yeah. Can you please like? Cheers, Andrew. Oh, I need to keep up. Do you prop firm or no? Yes, I do. Because why not? It's like trading free money, no? Like why risk your own if you can risk someone else's? But that being said, I do both. So I trade my own and I trade prop firm, yes. Actually quite exciting because one prop firm in particular I've had a conversation with, which is going to be a partner for the channel, and what's really cool is, so I like prop firms for people that are new because they can test the strategies and actually see if it works without wasting thousands of euros, because you can pay like $50, get a 5k account, or $100 10k account, and just test if you are even profitable. First, before you even attend a prop firm, you should first have a plan and a strat. Doesn't make any sense to try and pass a challenge if you do not have any strategy, any plan, so that's step one. But there are people that are interested in the prop firms, and it's a very well-known, most known prop firm. So I can just say it. I mean, it's not officially announced yet, but with FTMO, and yeah, we can get people some nice discounts and nice stuff for them to try as well. So when you have a very small portfolio, those are going to be some great opportunities, and by giving people some extra discount, they need even less money to try. So yeah. Are you talking here, Ed, about the local time frame? The blue line is the aggregated CVD on the 1 hour. And we're moving up. If we're moving up after a triangle, then the triangle is your wave B, right? And you move up for wave C. So A, B, and then continuation up in the wave C. So that would be the A, B, C scenario that you're talking about, Ed, right? Where this is A, B, triangle, and then C up. That's the scenario you keep an eye on in that case. If this is a triangle by itself, that's bearish. Triangle is a continuation pattern unless it's a wave Y or a wave Z. How can you count Bitcoin from the recent high 50-minute time frame? 50-minute is not relevant anymore because we had too much information, and now we only analyze the 1 hour or the 4 hour from 72K. So of course, when 72K happened, the 50-minute was interesting, but by now we have that information with us already, and you can go to the videos that I uploaded during those days when the high was made at 72K, and you can see how things progressed. But if you want a very short recap of why the probabilities were constantly bearish, I don't even need to go to the 15. Let me go to the 1 hour. Then let me shortly explain why the probabilities were always bearish. Okay. Step one. Oh, actually, the short here was explained. That was a nice one. Also given in the setups update. And then we had a move down, price ranging. Probabilities were higher to move to the downside because we didn't even touch the 382 Fibonacci taken from the low to the high, right? So the probabilities were higher to move down. We moved down into the fibs, touched the 886, probabilities higher to take the low. And then we got a move to the upside. Question is, are we bullish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or not? Well, that means we need to look for a wave 4 and a 5. Highest volume was in the high. The moment we touched the 618 taken from the low to the high over here, probabilities were higher to take the low. Also, we touched the 886 taken from the low to the high, increasing probabilities to take the low. Same happened here. Price grinding towards the upside, hit the 886, any move up, higher probability of being a C or Y, increased probabilities to sooner or later take out the low. This was, by the way, so far, in my opinion, the best and easiest short in this downtrend, because we also had incredible resistance here with the weekly naked point of control, which was amazing. That was a very nice one. Now we followed again, moved to the downside, right? Three-wave structure to the upside, same thing. If we're bullish, looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, price dip too deep, 0.618 hit, probability is high to take the low. This was an interesting one because here we actually got an 886 touch taken from this high to the low. However, this was a CVD probability because here we had bearish CVD, bearish CVD, bearish CVD. There was like no sign of strength. So instead of looking for a diagonal here for ABC, as long as there was no sign of strength, we just moved down. So that was more CVD based, I suppose. And now at the moment we are here. But on a daily time frame, the probabilities are still higher for the bears. And we have the bearish CVDs, which might actually play out if we move to the downside a little bit further. So we have bearish CVDs here. And we have bearish CVDs here. There we go. And of course, the bullish CVDs, as explained earlier here, these have now been invalidated, right, on blue. The final one you have is here, and then you have the bigger one. Of course, these get tackled one by one. So for now, this bearish CVD we have here now played out because price took out this low. So this one has now played out, confirmed. If price moves to the downside and moves through the box, that wouldn't be too great. Let's see. I'm actually curious to see if we're going to range still here during the weekend. The weekend, 2 days, generally a sideways ranging structure. Or if we can actually do something special today and range not between 58 and 62 during the weekend. What's up, Adam? How you doing? 15 push-ups. Cheers, Ed. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I guess I am very technical. Other times it's a lot easier, but it's now it's the daily it's sometimes the chart's very easy to read. Sometimes it's not too easy to read. So yeah, in the end, it's all probabilities. So I explained why I'm not interested in longs, right, as well, because I first want to see some levels taken and signs of strength, which we haven't on the daily. Took a long yesterday. I had my reasons as explained in the setups channel, explained it earlier. With regards to shorts, took one here yesterday as well. Yeah, probabilities are higher to move down unless you start taking some levels as explained in the analysis as well. And locally in this range here, yeah, we got so close to this high. The only way to end a structure here would be WXY, but that's not great. Or you have some sort of a triangle. And then finally, of course, you have the potential for a bigger wick the highs and then continue. And in this case, we would spend the weekend here. That's your bullish option is that today you're going to close today between these levels. All right, range, weekend, pop, and then yeah. Sometimes I think the technical one is also it's a strength but also a weakness. I can get like too technical. And sometimes with trade like Elliott waves, I can also get too detailed instead of just making things easy and looking from a higher perspective. Which platform do you use to view the chart? This is TradingView. Link is in the description, right? It's tradingview.com, and it's free. You have paid plans, but you can pretty much use everything you really need for free. But yeah, link is in the description somewhere. Dawa, Big Ladusky, how you doing? Crypto Man, what's up? Mirovsky, how you doing? Okay, we're almost there. How to trade, just helping tools to confirm. Well, so trading Elliott waves is, I suppose, relatively easy in a way that you always trade your highest probability scenario till the invalidation is hit. And the moment your invalidation is hit, the alternative scenario becomes the highest probability scenario, and now you trade that one and you create a new alternative. But what I like is, so Elliott waves generally create quite big areas of interest, like a wave 2 between the 05 and the 786, wave 4 between the 236 and the 05. And I don't just want to enter on a 0.5 for wave 2 or the 0.236 for a wave 4 is like the minimum target. And if price would move down to the golden pocket or the 786 for a wave 2, I prefer entering there. But this is where other tools come in that I like to use, and that is my trading style. So besides Elliott waves, I have other tools and other things that I keep an eye on, and everything I use, I show everything on the chart. It's just the combination of how I use them is what makes me the trader I am. I'm pretty sure many more people use similar tools, but they just trade different, right? They look just for like small little different things. Now, with regards to making a video, I share everything for free in the setups channel. So I don't, by the way, share like when I enter trades, because I am not someone that, I'm not a signal service. You know, you want to go signals, you go to the Moon Boys or whatever they do, but I want to help people to become profitable traders by themselves. And of course, Elliott waves is the style I do. So if you want to trade Elliott waves, you're at the good place. But I want to help people to fish. I'm not fishing for them. So what I do is I explain why setups are interesting from an Elliott wave point of view. But I will never share if I actually entered or not, because that depends on what I see locally, right? I have a potential setup, but it doesn't mean, depending on new info. Remember the screenshot here, right? We were looking for this. I mean, the short was great. And the long, well, we didn't move down to the golden pocket. Not that that was the area of interest, because we had a target box above, and I just say I'm interested in long, interested in short here, and I explain why. But then as price here moved up, this is where my interest lied, and that is the long. And it is not a big long, as big in like percentage price action, but the profit is great, no? I mean, who cares? Every bit of profit every day helps. So it's, yeah, if you just click on the first link in the description, you get into the Koens Trades channel first. Where is it? Koens Trades. Oh man, I really have to update my trades channel. The picture in there is so incredibly old. Like the past 27th. I had so many more trades. I really have to do it. But then, yeah, just follow the steps. You'll get into the Koens Setups channel together with all the others in here. And this is where I explain why certain trades are interesting. And sometimes I explain why I entered as well, and what I saw in the chart. 63.64, grab the liquidity. Yeah, you do have a double top, which is of course always interesting from a liquidity point of view. 63.64, weekly naked point of control is absolutely interesting. The higher time frame point of controls. The volume, no, I just have it here on my chart, fixed range volume profile, and then just draw it like ta-da. Yeah. I took the long anyways. Yeah, man, look, if you have a plan, if you have a strategy, trade the plan, trade the strat, right? What's up, Jeroen? Blue is looking good on you, right? Alimos, by the way, Jeroen, thanks for your work, man, yesterday. Holy shit, this guy. So, yeah, insane. Alimos, pleasure. I will definitely... Cheers, Morovsky. Yeah, so how it works for your insight is, if you register through someone's affiliate link to a platform, so I can only speak from my experience, but this is how it works for me, is that of course people pay a little bit of commission when they trade, and 0.025%, which of course is very small, of that commission goes to the creator. So before it even, before it supports the channel, you need a significant amount of volume, but it's every little bit helps, like for example, Jeroen here in the chat, he's the first official employee of the channel. He does a lot more stuff. He does adminning stuff. Sometimes maybe Jeroen you will get an email from him. He does some Discord stuff, thumbnail, banners. He will be involved with the website and other stuff. So the fact that Jeroen can be an employee is thanks to all of you as well. And it's a side job for him, by the way, next to his studies. So you're helping him in his studies as well, in his development, because I'm able to pay him from the income of YouTube. Of course, I have my money as a trader and everything, but if you run a business, of course, you want to use the money coming from the business to then scale the business, right? So that's the way to eventually move forward. So yeah, every little bit of support helps, and of course, it's the commissions. It's very small. You really need you need hundreds, or hundreds of millions before, like in volume, to have great, like amazing money. Cheers, Reezy. Yeah, I'll keep you up to date. When it's confirmed, I'll make sure to put it in the chat. I agree, Florian. And also, we haven't seen signs of strength on a daily time frame. Bearish CVD on the 3 minute. Haven't been paying attention during the live stream on the 3 minute. Another boring weekend, but maybe an exciting Friday. Cosmin, welcome. Been through, learned a lot. That's what I love to hear. What about Netherlands, Romania, and the Euro? With the bronze, silver to the sport. Thanks, Cosmin. You're always welcome. Take it easy. But welcome. Life is taking over a lot of my time. Like everyone here, every viewer, every comment. It's for me as a creator nowadays, of course, is amazing. So no one has to write something in chat or has to comment, but so far I have replied in my YouTube journey to every comment I have received, pretty much, because there was one video where I had over 100 comments. That was the 10K giveaway announcement video. That's where I just liked, I hearted every comment. But just thanks for hanging out, viewing, watching the content. That's what supports the channel, So cheers. And whenever you're ready, happy to welcome you. Netherlands, Romania. Well, yeah, the Netherlands, it's a different team than we had, of course, back in the day. Not that in the old days everything was better, but, Jaap Stam, Van Nistelrooy, Bergkamp, Sneijder, like those were the golden days for Dutch football. At the moment, it's a bit, I don't know, it's a little bit meh. Draw against France, loss against Austria. Now, I'm not a football fan. I actually never watched football, but I watched it because I was with my dad one day, and he likes to watch football, so I watched it as well. I am 50%. I'm French and Dutch, so when France and the Netherlands play against one another, especially in a competition, I do like to watch it. But that's pretty much it. I didn't watch the Austria one, which they lost, it seems. And now Romania, yeah, should be exciting. Should be exciting. Yeah, Andy. I might actually combine like the TradingView tutorial when I'm gonna put all of my Elliott wave stuff on the index chart. Because I think I'm going for counting, I think I'm going to go to the index chart. And then I will, from the monthly all the way down to the 1 hour and stuff scenarios, I will put everything back on the chart. So everyone will be able to see exactly how I organize my folders, how I make the sections and everything. I think that could be a good one. RK, first link in the description, the first link below. It says setups channel or something like that in the description. Traditional markets are at all-time high. I mean, arguably, Bitcoin is, in a way, still close to or at all-time high, but of course, we're not pumping now. I mean, all-time high 73K, we're now at 61, but we are in the range after all-time high, and the probabilities on the weekly are still high to continue at some point. When Kunz gets in details, I'm like, have mercy. When I can get, like, when I go into a lot of detail, yes, a lot of rules and guidelines will be mentioned in a very short period of time. Does Elliott wave favor symmetry? Yes. And this is why time is important, and also covered in the book. Symmetry, but also alternation. But it's symmetry, preferably symmetry in time, but alternation in waves. So if wave 2 in an impulse is short, deep, and simple, which is most common, simple being a zigzag, for example, wave 4 has a higher probability, alternation between 2 and 4, being shallow, long in time, and complex. But you do like the symmetry in wave patterns with regards to time. That at least that's most common. Yes. Venom Soul, welcome. Howdy from Texas, Attila. How you doing? No, we already. How long are we streaming for now? 2 hours. It's time to go. Formula One started. Got to watch it. How nice would it be? Netherlands, Belgium. I mean, it's too early to see Netherlands, Belgium, no? I mean, you want to see that in the final, not in like the 1/16. That's an interesting one. I had no idea. So he came back to coach. Look at him go. Ichimoku Cloud. Interesting. On the 4-hour time frame. Bearish. The bearish Ishimoku Cloud. You do not need to give all the... Let us see your chart for free. No, I try to give as much as I can for free. Of course, the moment it is taking my time outside of streams and videos, yeah, that is where things become a service. But I will show how I do that on stream. That's no problem. Yeah, empty chart to full stuff. Cheers, Attila. It's always difficult to, like, I always just say cheers and thanks. It's very difficult to really, you know, it does mean a lot to me. But I talk, of course, it as, yeah. One day I should, like, you know, when I travel the world or organize an event somewhere and we meet some people. Of course, I am here at home talking to a webcam. You guys are watching to a random dude from the Netherlands. You know, we're all somewhere, but at the same time, we're all at the same place. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm happy to help, happy to provide value. And do not forget that in the end, you are the one that changes your life, right? You're the one clicking the buttons. You're the one studying, creating a plan, strategy. You know, it's all you. I just try to add my 2 cents. I know. Sprint quality time. Got to go. Venom Soul, I'm doing good. Just chilling, relaxing, live streaming. Time to watch Formula One. Adam, yes, I know Laura. Just like, so I actually don't know her personally, but I know who she is. And I am not sure I'm not sure which charts, what she analyzes. And she is very detailed as well, very technical. If you know of Jeffrey Kennedy and his, no, I actually don't. So that would be something I need to research. I don't actually know. Reezy, thanks. Thanks, Reezy. Yeah, just wonder always the people you followed on your journey to master level. Yeah, I just hope that, like, people learn something on the channel, or they have some value, or in the memberships or whatever that they can take, and it hopefully helps them in whatever the future holds. And then one day, hopefully they look back and be like, yo, from that Koens guy, I learned this little thing which helped me to become a profitable trader, or helped me to have this house, helped me to take care of my kid, helped me to get, you know, X, Y, Z. And I will never know, but you know, that's yeah, the stuff that I can hopefully help people in a way. She for the longest time in the XP gets XRP videos gets her views. This was what she responded to me when I asked why she kept posting XRP videos. I don't follow her, so I actually wouldn't know. But so I know who she is, and I know she's very technical. But of course, I don't trade XRP, so I wouldn't really know. She kept posting XRP videos. XRP always had a very big fan base, no? I love trading Bitcoin at prop firms. Yeah, it should be exciting when I get the news, the news and stuff out. So we're still working on it, but yeah, I should be able to get some give people some nice discounts and opportunities with FTMO. I used to be a Formula One fan. I'm Mansell Pro Senna. Wow. The good old days. I wasn't even, I was born but not aware. I mean, in some cases not born, as I'm born in 92. Thank you, Leighton Stone. Watch for FVG in the 4-hour fib extension for... you mean this piece here? I mean, this has been touched once, right? So this little gap has been touched here for the first time. So if you come here again, probabilities of course are higher to fill the gap and hit the box. Yeah, on the daily time frames, just nothing changed, and on a local time frame, yeah, it remains not too easy to end a structure here. So either you do have A, B, C, D, E finished, and then 1, 2, and you continue down in a wave 3. Well, that's an option. But if we do talk about triangles, if that is the case, then your next move down is going to be either a wave, it's going to be a wave 5. You then have a wave 4 in the bigger context. You look for a wave 5, and then you're just going to range throughout the weekend. The alternative is WXY, but this move up is not a nice impulsive structure. Higher probability to be a 3-waver. So then the triangle would be preferred over the WXY. And of course, the alternative is you're looking at a bigger 3-wave structure, right? So you have your A or 1, a 3-wave move down in a wave B, or a wave 2. 2, of course, would be very bullish. And then a wave C or 3 to the upside, where you have some interesting resistance to then reject. But that means we need to see proof of support. The thing is that on the daily time frame, the probability is higher for the bears. So it's very difficult to locally be very bullish. In the analysis earlier, 15-minute time frame, I did speak about price taking the highs. But because on the daily time frame, the probabilities are not bullish unless you start to flip some levels, which, as explained, is first of all getting back into the value area, 62.5K, close and retest. Then move up to the resistance. Past this resistance, yeah, okay, that's where we can flip some probabilities. But as long as that doesn't really happen, nah, But okay, it's time for me to go and chill with the wife and watch some Formula One. So just as a summary, on the weekly time frame, probabilities are higher for the bullish scenarios as shown, right? So I've shown 2 bullish scenarios. The primary is the first one in the analysis, which basically is with the invalidation at 49.3K. And the second one has a much deeper invalidation at 37K, but that one is an alternative. So the primary weekly time frame in both cases bullish. On the daily time frame, the probabilities are bearish unless you start and the probabilities increase for the bulls, but they are bearish unless you can flip 62.5K and retest it on a daily time frame. Then take out 64.5 and preferably 66.4. That's the level you need to take before taking out the local low. And on the 1 hour 15-minute time frame, because the daily is bearish, it's quite difficult to really be bullish. We do have a double top locally, so that is important to keep an eye on as well. We are moving to the downside, of course, now as well, with some volume increasing. So to keep things very simple, right? As long as price is moving to the downside on an increased amount of volume, we have to wait for a range to form. And then the range will give us all the info. Now we can have potentially wave 3 vibes here, or another wave C or wave Y, and then just range here throughout the weekend. That's stuff we'll figure out at a later stage, because the double top is definitely interesting, possibly for after the weekend. Range, grab the highs and then continue down. We'll see. But as long as price is moving down, from an Elliott wave point of view, it's best to wait for a range to form, and the range will give us all the probabilities we need. We have a bit of support down here and a 1 hour order block as well around 60.1, but that's it. And it's not the greatest support, so it's again, the reaction and the range is going to be very important to me in case I do consider longs in that area. I need to see some proof of support and good strength there. For now, we move down, some volume increasing. We're either thinking wave 3 or we're thinking wave C, and that depends on the next range as well. So yeah, just take it step by step, easy, and not over trading certain ranges, right? Wait for your setup to appear. Wait for the probabilities to increase in your favor. It's a waste of your money to YOLO FOMO or catch knives if you don't have a plan to catch knives. So trade safe. I will make sure to timestamp the end of this stream, so the summary, that's most important most of the time for many people. And yeah, that being said, trade safe again. I'm gonna check out Formula One, and then during the stream, tomorrow morning or Sunday, we can talk about the sprint and Formula One again, and see what you guys expect for the Grand Prix. I'm excited though. Cheers everyone, have a good one, trade safe, and I'm gonna catch you at the next live stream. Tonight is an update, right? Normal Bitcoin update, see what we get. Tomorrow morning is a normal update, and then the weekend has streams again. So